Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are still working on King Lear, and today we get to hear from King Lear himself in Act 2, Scene 2, as it is known in the folio, Act 2, Scene 4, as it is known in many other versions because of Edgar's weird little monologue that goes in there. So real quick catch up. We are all at Gloucester's house because Regan doesn't want to deal with Lear at her house because Goneril has told Regan that he's being really rude and destructive and all that sort of thing. Lear has been kicked out of, well, not kicked out of, sort of kicked out of, but then also kind of sort of left Goneril's house with only half of his men because she dismissed half of them, and he's really angry about that. So he sent letters ahead to Gloucester. Kent got put in the stocks for hitting Goneril's servant Oswald, and Kent is currently sitting in the stocks. King Lear has gone off to try to get Regan to get to the bottom of all this because Kent said it was Regan and Cornwall that put me in the stocks. So Lear's very angry. He has gone inside to get Regan. And yesterday we had a moment between Kent and the Fool. Kent is still in disguise, remember. Between Kent and the Fool, where the Fool is sort of like, be careful where you put your loyalties because, the king's kind of on a down slope. But I'm just a fool, so anybody that takes my advice is also stupid. And then Lear comes back in because he has been told that Regan and Cornwall are too tired and weary from their journey to speak to him right now. And he is furious at this. He's like, really? They're tired? I also just came this really long way. And they're like, well, you know how fiery the Duke can get. And he's like, really? Really? They're not going to come out and talk? Like, go tell them that I am here, that I want to talk to them. And they're like, well, I informed them that you were here and wanted to talk to them. And King Lear says, the king would speak with Cornwall. The dear father would with his daughter speak, commands, tends service. Are they informed of this? By breath and blood. Fiery? The fiery Duke? Tell the hot Duke that, no, but not yet. Maybe he is not well. Infirmity doth still neglect all office whereto our health is bound. We are not ourselves when nature, being oppressed, commands the mind to suffer with the body. I'll forbear, and am fallen out with my more headier will to take the indisposed and sickly fit for the sound man. Death on my state, wherefore should he sit here? This act persuades me that this remotion of the Duke and her is practice only. Give me my servant forth. Go tell the Duke and his wife, I'll speak with them. Now, presently, bid them come forth and hear me, or at their chamber door I'll beat the drum till it cries, sleep to death. So this is an interesting view into Lear's mind. Like he's absolutely livid at the beginning of this, and he's smart enough to catch these words that make him so angry. Like, you informed them. Like, what good is that? And calling the Duke fiery. Like, the Duke is not fiery, honey. You haven't even seen fiery. That kind of a thing. But then he also catches himself, and he's like, wait a second. If Cornwall and Regan really are sick, then maybe the fact that they're sick is making them behave not like themselves. So I should take a breath, and I should be kinder and more relaxed, more logical, more understanding of this sort of thing. But then he looks over and he sees Kent still sitting in the stocks, and he's like, no, this right here, the fact that my servant is in the stocks and they did this to him, that needs to be answered for. That's not okay. They need to come out and talk to me. So he gets angry again. And it's, I think, just an interesting thing and an interesting note on where Lear is, that he is so emotional and so angry and so set off, but he's also still trying to be logical. Like, when people talk about the madness of King Lear, I think a lot of it is the back and forth in his head of how he feels versus how he should act, if that makes any sense. So shortly after this, Regan and Cornwall come in, and they're like, Dad, happy to see you. And King Lear's like, I really hope that you're happy to see me, because if you're not happy to see me, then there's a problem. And he tells Regan that he tells Regan that Goneril has treated him horribly, and he equates it to being like stabbed in the chest with unkindness and all this sort of thing. And Regan's like, no, I'm pretty sure that my sister was just acting accordingly, because you, Dad, are old and you should behave that way. You should behave in such a way that fits your stature. And he's like, what? And she's like, yeah, you should go back to Goneril and apologize for being so unruly. And he's like, whoa, what does that look like if the head of the household goes and begs forgiveness from his daughter who treated him so terribly? Like, that doesn't reflect well on our house at all. And then he starts calling on nature to like bring down all of these terrible curses on Goneril, sort of like the way that he cursed her with sterility a few scenes ago. He's calling and like fen-sucked fogs and all this stuff to come and infect Goneril, and Regan's sitting over there being like, see, like, how do I know you're not going to do this to me? Like, if I say the wrong thing, you're going to say all the same stuff to me. And his response is tomorrow's monologue. So I'll see you then for that. Mwah.